Hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you for tuning into the show today. So I thought I would give it a little bit of a break from the stuff I've been talking about the last few weeks, because that's been pretty heavy stuff, and talk about something that's a little bit closer to my home, although this other stuff is very exciting. And I'm going to talk about energy medicine. Actually, it was requested that I talk about energy medicine. So we are going to talk about energy medicine. And so energy medicine utilizes subtle energy to affect ourselves, our physical bodies, our emotional body, our mental body. And so if you're not sure of what subtle energy is, so in Chinese medicine, it is qi, it is our life force energy. And so someone who practices subtle energy or energy medicine is able to stimulate the movement of subtle energy in another person's body. Now, many people think, oh, well, this person healed me, but that's really not the case. The healer is just the facilitator of the shift and of the practice. And really, it is the person that's being worked on that's kind of doing all of the work. But what is it really affecting? So, energy medicine can affect our physical body, but it can also affect other aspects of our subtle energy system. This includes our aura, or the energy field around our body. It can affect our chakras, which there are 7 chakras that line up and down the spine, and they're energy centers that send, receive, and assimilate information around us, as well as our subtle body. So our auric field in total is actually broken up into 4 bodies: the causal body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the etheric body, before it actually runs into the physical body. And if you're interested in learning more about the bodies and how interference in our subtle energy can affect our health, I actually did write an entire book about it, and it's called Avoiding the Cosmic 2x4. And I'm looking over there going, well, should I go grab it? Hang on one sec. Avoiding the Cosmic 2x4. And this is not available on Amazon because Amazon kind of sucks, but you can buy it directly off my webpage, soulhealer.com. And it really is a very in-depth discourse into the movement of subtle energy in the physical body. So when we experience disease, it is that our bodies are saying, hey, there's something going on inside and I want you to pay attention. And so, but disease isn't just that it just shows up. Now, I have to caveat that. We do get older and things start to wear out and fall apart, and we have accidents that interfere with how our body operates. But by and large, when we experience disease, it is because we've experienced some kind of trauma or some kind of life events over and over and over again, and have a certain mindset to things that stagnate the movement of this subtle energy. And in order to experience radiant health, our subtle energy, our qi, needs to be constantly flowing into us and back out of us. And so these obstructions, so the chakras can become misaligned, or there can be energy that actually sits inside the chakra, but it can also sit in our organs, glands, and tissues. So when I'm working with someone and they make a complaint about something, I'm poking around and I'm palpating their organs, And there is always, or not always, but the majority of the time, a psychospiritual aspect that is sitting in there that is unresolved. So, as an example, I had a client come to me who had a gallbladder issue, and I'm poking around and I'm like, wow, a lot of people that have gallbladder issues end up being very frustrated because they try to plan things and they get foiled. And I looked at him, I go, but you can't plan anything. And I said, but it's not broken. It's not that you could plan, but your confidence in planning over time was beat up so much that you choose not to plan anymore. It's because you could not plan your way out of a paper bag. And I said, and that's what's creating this gallbladder issue. And he started laughing and he goes, well, I can't plan. My mom can't plan. My aunt can't plan. And oh, none of them have gallbladders either. So that was kind of funny. But you find the same thing in other organs. When people have issues with blood sugar regulation, which primarily has to do with the pancreas, many times they have a hard time receiving and taking in the sweetness of life, which makes it so that their pancreas becomes dysregulated. So it's not that the organ is broken. I mean, well, the organ is broken, but there's also some psychospiritual aspect that is making it so it's not functioning optionally. And so what energy medicine can do is to help open those channels up, help break free some of that trauma. And when you're working with someone like me, you get that more in-depth activation, because I'll sit there and go, well, you can't plan your way out of a paper bag. So it gives you like the mental piece of what you can do to shift and change what's going on in your life so that you can actually heal yourself. But energy medicine helps break up these blockages. And there are a number of different forms of energy medicine. The most commonly known one is Reiki. And to me, Reiki is a very general system of energy medicine where the practitioner lays their hands over certain points on the body, primarily the chakras. If a person has pain in their shoulder, they might put their hands over their shoulder and send energy in. It's not really focused, but it is very effective. I mean, it is very effective. One of the things that energy medicine does is it helps you to relax. It helps to relax the body. And while you are getting energy work done, it puts you kind of in a meditative, more, I'm going to say, mindful place. Energy medicine helps you let go of the things that you're holding on to in that moment and become more zen, become more in the now, which gives you the opportunity to let them go. And if it's done right and you're working with a practitioner that is good, so one of the things that we do as human beings is that we mirror or go into resonance with the people around us. And so if you're working with an energy medicine practitioner that is high vibrating, or they're in a high vibrating place where they're working on you, you are automatically going to vibrate at that higher frequency, which will also promote and stimulate healing. And one of the other things, so there are a lot of people that do energy medicine, and this is not commentary about the goodness or worth or whatever about the practitioner, but they're not all alike. And so I'm going to tell you one of my energy medicine horror stories, which wasn't about me. I just was looking. But it really shifts the way in which you are going to receive the healing or the results that you're hoping for. So one of the things about energy medicine, for me in particular, is really about setting an intention. So even in Reiki, they have these symbols that you use, or you set the intention for the healing, and you hold that intention. You hold the vibration of this is what we want to fix. And then the practitioner goes into resonance with that intention, which allows the client to go into resonance with that intention. But in order to hold intention, you have to be focused and you have to concentrate. I mean, I guess that's the word. And just really be in it. You have to be in it to win it. But I was at a fair. This was a number of years ago, and I'm at my booth, and a couple of booths over, there is this guy doing, I don't know, energy work sessions, Reiki, I don't know, some kind of energy work. And he had this fancy setup and this massage table, and he had this really long, like, crystal. I don't know. It was long, and it looked really cool. And he was charging a lot of money. So this is why it kind of irritated me. So he's charging a lot of money, and he has people laying on the table, and he's sitting there, and he's holding the crystal, pointing to their head, and he's holding it. He's looking around the room, and then he's like looking at his watch and looking around the room. And I'm like, how is this person receiving any healing if his energy and his intention is not on the client, that there is actually no focus on them at all? Did he think like this crystal was going to just do something? I don't know. I didn't ask. They didn't like me, so it was all good. But in order for it to work, you really have to hold vibration and you have to hold frequency. I have these notes all over the place. What does this one say? Oh, so, and many times when you get energy work done, so if you've ever had energy work done, or if you never had energy work done, but you get a session, have a session, people report, and I'm going to say 3 basic experiences. Sometimes, if you're sensitive, you can actually feel the person working on you, and you can notice their energy being projected into you, and you feel sensations in and around your body. Then there's the second and much far bigger category, is that at the end of the session, you feel very relaxed, and maybe you want to just go take a nap. And that is a very common reaction. You know, you maybe didn't feel anything, but you feel lighter and like you have discharged and you have done all of this stuff, and really you've just been sitting there or laying there. And there are the people that say that they don't feel anything at all, which I, you know, whatever. Although they do report, if asked specifically, if they feel more relaxed, and they will cop up to the fact that they feel more relaxed. And that is okay too. And so, and I'm just gonna talk about me, because this is how I operate. So when I'm working with someone, I don't do Reiki in particular. I mean, I incorporate a number of different healing therapies with people, and I will work with people over the phone. And so usually when I'm working with someone, the first thing that I do is I ground their body, I align their chakras and ground their body, and I ground their auric field. And then I just start poking around. Usually people come and they have some issues they want to work on, and I start addressing those specifically. And so if you talk to me about, you know, you're having this digestive issue, or you have pain here or whatever, I will go and start grounding that area, or maybe sending light into it, or doing some kind of psychic surgery on it in order to shift the energy. Sometimes when I'm working with people, you know, I have this list of stuff they want me to do, but I get caught over here because this thing that I'm noticing is wanting priority. And I feel like it's more important to listen to what your body says and not necessarily to what you said or what I necessarily said. And so when I work with them, you know, I work in specific organs, But I don't just work on the physical body, because when we have issues in our lives, when we have trauma, it doesn't only just sit in the physical body, although it does show up a lot in the physical body, but it also can sit in our emotional body, or it can sit in our mental body. And so I work with people to clear that part out as well. You know, and the healing helps them to release whatever they're holding on to in those different situations. So energy work, well, I'm gonna wrap up with a miracle story. So I've had a number of miracles occur working with clients, whether I've done a reading for them and they listen to my advice and the situation takes this hugely great turn. But this one in particular kind of blew me away a little bit. So I was at a psychic fair, and so at this event, people were doing just 15-minute readings, you know, and so every 15 minutes I had a different person in my chair. And so this woman comes and she sits down and she's like, well, I really don't want a reading. She goes, I have this tooth issue going on, like it's infected, and you know, and I have to go back to the dentist on Thursday. So this was a Saturday. I have to go back to the dentist on Thursday. And if there isn't any kind of healing happening, they're going to want to do surgery on it. And I'm like, okay. You know, so I'm like poking around mentally in her mouth, you know, and I'm doing this and this, you know. So basically I was like taking antibiotics. So I'm doing all of this in my head, taking antibiotics and cleaning out the tissue of the gum because it was really infected and had a lot of pus, which was disgusting even in my mind, even though I didn't like physically see it. And I put this healing gel on it, and then I like sutured it up because it was open, the wound was open. And I mentally sutured it up and sealed it up and grounded it and did all this stuff to it. Mind you, again, in 15 minutes. Session ends, see ya. You know, when you do this kind of work, you don't often get a lot of feedback, which is one of the reasons why I love when you guys give me feedback to the readings that I do for you. And so, I don't know, it's a few weeks later, and I get a call from this woman. And she says, yeah, I want to book an appointment. And I'm like, great. And so I don't remember if I asked her how she heard of me or found me, but she tells me this story. She goes, well, you worked on my sister at that psychic fair a few weeks ago that had the tooth issue. And I'm like, oh, okay, I remember her. She goes, she didn't contact you? And no, she didn't contact me. She goes, I go, why, what happened? She goes, oh my God. It's like she went home and that night the tooth and her sinuses just started draining and draining and draining. And she was up all night because of all this drainage that was happening. And I don't know how long that went on, but she went to the dentist that Thursday on schedule. And not only had the hole, I think she had a tooth pulled, and that's where the issue had come from. Not only had it healed, but bone had started growing in to the hole where the tooth had come from. And so both she and her sister were both shocked. Okay, I was shocked too. You know, that's a miracle story, but that really is the power of energy medicine. It really can produce some very profound changes if wielded in the hand of someone who can do it, like me. Anyway, so if you would like to get an energy work session, energy medicine session, visit my webpage, soulhealer.com. That's soulhealer.com. Reach out to me and we can set up a time for a private consultation. If you are watching this show in a rerun and you want to join the fun, the best way to get into the chat is to go to my YouTube channel. That's Just Energy Radio on YouTube, 7 p.m. Central. Hit the live link, and that should open up the chat and you can join the fun and get a free on-air psychic reading. This show is also brought to you by the Institute of Applied Energetics. That's appliedenergeticsinstitute.com, where you can learn to become a medical intuitive counselor, or certified energy medicine practitioner from the comfort of your own home. That's appliedenergeticsinstitute.com. And before I go and start saying hi to everyone, I just want to remind you to go and connect with me on social media. The best ones are YouTube, Substack, Twitter, and Rumble. I would love for you to like and subscribe and set up notifications for those accounts. It helps me, it helps you. It's a good win-win situation. Okay, so let's see what we have going on. There's a whole big list already. So we have Ann Lee. She's number 1 in the queue. And she says, hi, Dr. Rita. Number 3, please. Thank you very much. Ann Lee, you're so very welcome. And let's see what the cards have for you tonight. You know, I was shuffling these a little earlier, and this is the 3rd different of these mass cards that came up. Oh, so if there's anyone new listening to the show, this is how it works. So if you would like to get a reading, ask for a number between 1 and 3. And that is the number of times that I will shuffle the cards on your behalf before I draw one to give you the reading. So give me a number between 1 and 3. I'll shuffle the cards that many times and draw a card for you. Okay? Great. All right, and let's see what they have to say for you today. And that's your card. So, Anne, one of the things that you're showing me, excuse me. Oh. Tell you what, I get one little tickle in my throat, and it just is too much. Okay. So, Anne, I feel like something, and I'm going to say shifted for you. In this moment, I'm going to say it's in a good way, but I feel like you've kind of broken through with all of this energy and intensity and vibrance. Now, there might be a little bit of anger tied to this, which is the part where I think it's okay, but if there's anger tied to it, it's not that you can't be angry. I feel like what you would be angry about is justifiable, but do pay attention to it, because I feel like it could go over the top and take you to a place that you really don't want to go. And so that is my only warning on that piece. But I feel like this thing has propelled you forward, and there's a lot of very strong 3rd chakra energy on it. But again, just mind that emotional place and you will be fine. All righty. And now we have Don, and he says, hi, Dr. Rita, I hope you're doing okay. It was a beautiful day here in LBCA. Can I get a 3? You sure can, Don. And that's your card for today, Dawn. You know, Dawn, I think you get this card a lot. Okay, so what they want me to share with you today is for you to stop worrying. Okay, and I know you like to worry, so there's that part. But they're suggesting that you not worry. because it's going to be okay. The worry isn't being particularly productive. Um, I had this whole thing and then I lost it. Hang on a second, Don. Okay. So, Dawn, I'm going to throw this out at you to consider. Is it possible that if things are starting to go better, feel better, move forward, kind of be on your side, that you will take it and throw the worry in on top of it? And if that is the case, I would like to suggest that that worry is really slowing down the vibration and shifting the vibration of what you have all of this great energy wanting to move forward. And it's making it so that you can't or aren't getting what you want. And so I would like to just bring your attention to that. And if things are going good and you start to worry, that you catch yourself, because spirit is moving you in a direction and you need to just trust that that's the direction you're supposed to be going in. And because the worry isn't going to change it. And if it's going to change it, it's going to change it into a more negative outcome. Okay? Something to think about, Dawn. Okay. And we have Christine. She says, hello, may I have a reading number 2, please? Thank you. You sure can. Okay, and Christine, that's your card for today. Okay, so Christine, have you been hitting some frustration recently? I feel like your energy is like you want to go here, you want to move forward, you want things to happen, but I feel like they're not. It's sometimes when they're not, they're just not. And so perhaps a better strategy is to just surrender to the fact that it's not moving forward. And this is a chance for me to work on nurturing myself or working on something else or shifting the attention for a while to allow things to unwind in the background so that they can move forward again. I don't get the impression that this thing that you're working on is going to be going away. So don't worry that if I shift my attention off it, if I take my attention off it, I'm going to lose it. You're not going to lose it. Might shift a little bit, but it's not going away. All right. Hope that helps. All right. And we have Karen. She says, happy Thursday, Dr. Rita. Can I please get a reading number 2? You sure can, Karen. All right. And Karen, that's your card for today. Okay, so this is interesting, Karen. So what you're telling me is that, and the words that you're using is, I'm going to make a mark like on society. I feel like you have made a decision to do something, put your energy into something, move forward in a concept. It's a little hard for me to say exactly what that's going to be, but I feel like for you, there's this dynamic of putting yourself out there. And instead of kind of staying in the background, you're more like moving it into the foreground of what's going on, which is a new energy for you, a new dynamic. And I feel like it feels really good to you. So do it, go for it. Sounds great. Okay. And we have Miss Amy, and she says, hi, Dr. Rita, happy Thursday. May I have a number 3 reading today, please? Thank you. You can. Okay. All right, and that's your card for today. And okay, so Amy, I try to like read it in the moment, but sometimes I know too much stuff. And so I am going to make this commentary. And I'm just going to leave it a little vague on this end, but I know you'll know what I'm talking about. I get the impression that you are having some concerns about the changes that will be happening in your home in the not so distant future. I feel like you are mapping things out, like you are organizing a game of chess, like, well, if they do this, then I'm going to do this, and stuff like that. Okay, I'm going to say 2 points, might be more. First point is that's not helping you because it's just putting you in your brain and kind of in a weird ruminating place and not trusting that things are going to be good and uplifting and what you want. But then 2, which is the message that I'm getting, but also plan on getting out of Dodge as much as possible. Find activities that you and your son can go to not necessarily be around the house. Even if it's kind of like, here's this list of things. It's like, okay, things are getting tense here. Let's go do this. Let's go down to the river. Let's go for a walk. Let's, and instead of strategizing about the other person, figure out what your escape plan is going to be so that you can better make it through the period of time. And escape is the best word that I can put with that. Okay. And I don't mean like for a week at a time. I just mean like, just get out of Dodge, get out of the line of sight. And I know you know what I mean. Hi, Yvonne. And she says, can I get a reading number 1, please? Okay. All right, Yvonne, let's see what the cards have for you today. All righty, and that's your card for today. Okay, Yvonne, so I keep being drawn to like your creative space, the things that you're working on, and they're just not really working for me. So perhaps, and this might be very short and sweet, so perhaps maybe you need to take the stuff that you think you should be doing and put it over there in a pile, throw it in the garbage can, and they're kind of telling me start over. Because I feel like it's kind of stuck. The energy is kind of stuck. And, you know, there's a difference between taking a pause and then revisiting, and then there's putting it to the side and regrouping. Not that you can't pull energy and information out of the other thing, but there's already too much like almost negative energy on it that it would be better and higher and clearer if you put the focus to what you've been working on to the side and focus on something else. So please, Yvonne, really do respond to that, because I feel like that really wasn't clear. Hopefully that was clear for you. Let me know. You know, and anyone that's gotten a reading so far, you know me, I love that feedback. And if it is working for you, all right, hang on one second, you know, and you feel so inclined, oh, not that one. Hey, it's not supposed to be that one. There we go. You know, if you want to go and leave me a little something, something, so, you know, something that I realized, if you go to soulhealer.com and up on the top menu, it says live, and that will take you to soulhealer.com/live. And that's where the little tip jar is. And if you want to leave me a little something, something, I'd really appreciate it. Okay. And we have Mr. B and Friends. Hey, Mr. B and Friends, who says, hi, Dr. Rita. And then Dawn says, Dr. Rita, you are looking very positive tonight. Love the hair and your choice of clothing. It shows you're in high spirits. You know, Dawn, today I feel like I must have drank like 500 gallons of caffeine. I've just been buzzing and buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. I'm working on yet another new article that just has been kind of blowing me away, and have been pitching to some radio stations. So cross your fingers. I just pitched to Tucker Carlson. Well, okay, and Alex Jones, but don't tell anybody that. And I'm really hoping that they want to have me on, because that would be so cool. So send that good energy. Send the good energy to me. Okay, thank you. All right. And then Ricky's here and he says, good evening, Dr. Rita. How lovely you look. See, these guys got it going on, saying I got good hair. You look absolutely stunningly, amazingly cute. Love your hair. Thank you. Looks fabulous. May I have a reading number 3, please? Thank you so much. And Ricky, you sure can have a reading. Three. Uh-oh. Okay, Ricky, you got a mask card. So for anyone that's new, when one of these cards show up, which are called mask cards, they usually identify where your energy is stuck, or you don't really want to look at something, or there's something sitting in the background that needs to be revealed. And so I am going to pull cards until I feel it clears. All right. Phew, good thing this one was here, because there was another mask card down there, which we don't want that. Okay, so that's the card I'm going to read for you today. All right, so Ricky. Okay, so Ricky, I feel like there are things going on in your life right now that need your attention, like in your inner world. I feel like the situations that are happening, you know, I don't want to say they're karmic, but they kind of have that feel to it, that there really is a lesson in them for you. I feel like part of you just wants to run away from that part of it, that piece of it. But in order to grow and in order to learn, you really need to learn, you know, figure out what the lesson is. And I feel like at this time, there's a little bit of dissecting that needs to happen with that, because I feel like it's kind of deep. But I feel like through that work, and I'm not feeling like it's going to be a whole bunch of like work, that it will create harmony and unity in yourself in an area that really has been bothering you for a long time. You know, when I talk about this stuff, I'm talking about like something deep in you, some old trigger, some old pattern, some, you know, some old belief that you've been carrying around for a really long time, and that there's a lesson that wants to come to the surface. And so pay attention to that, honor that, learn from it so that you don't have to keep re-experiencing it. Okay? We're going to move that bad boy to the bottom of the pile. Okay. And then ERRT Radio, hey. And he says, hi, Dr. Rita. Great hair today. Can I have a reading number 3, please? Thank you. And you sure can. Okay. ERRT Radio. And that is your card for today. Okay, so ERRT Radio, have you been feeling, and I'm going to say kind of trapped in your physical body? It only can make me assume that you're experiencing some discomfort right now. I feel like what the guidance is for you to reconnect to source. I'm just gonna like say what I'm seeing. So when I look at your energy, you know, instead of being full and having that line of energy coming from the universe, I feel like you're kind of crumpled up inside your body and not particularly connected, which is putting you in like a little bit of woe is me attitude, but also is keeping the pain or discomfort kind of locked in your body. And what they're suggesting is for you to reconnect, realign, so that, because one of the things about energy movement is that if you're connected at the 7th chakra to source, and your grounding is connected to the earth, then subtle energy can move through your physical body. And ERRT Radio, I'm feeling like that's a bit inhibited right now. You know, so go for the dream and disconnect from the physical and allow yourself to go back into the etheric and spiritual area. Okay. And Ohora's here. Hi, Ohora. And we have Spiritual Academy Energy, the podcast with Julie. Julie, I am just calling you Julie because that is too many words. And she wants a number 3. So how's about a number 3? All right, and Julie, that's your card for today. Okay, so Julie, what you are showing me is that you are, so the energy is like it's building and building, and it's like you almost want to pop to move into this new area of growth, you know, like moving up the ladder in a cycle. What they want to share right now is that for you, the way this is going to come about, or at least in this moment, is you just kind of peeled one little layer off. And I feel like there are a few more little layers that are going to have to come off in order for the chewy goodness inside to emerge. I am feeling like there's a little bit of impatience on your part. To like get this over with and move forward. I feel like there's, you know, it's been a little bit challenging, but you can't force it. You can't force a chicken to come out of the egg. It's going to come out in its own time. Same with the baby. You can't make a baby come out of the womb except for in its own time, except in the 20th century where they could just chop it out. But you can't chop it out. So don't even try. So just relax and allow it to do what it's going to do in the way that it wants to, because the net result is going to be great. All right. Let me know, you guys, how this is going for you. And then O'Hora says, hello, dear Dr. Rita. Thanks for the talk. Your hair looks awesome on you. Thank you. I really like this new cut. May I have your wise revelation number 3, please? Thank you. Indeed. Cheers to you. And you sure can. Okay. And we're tell you what, you guys have been getting like really good cards, like not a whole lot of negative ones, which is nice to see after those last couple of weeks where it's like, okay, we're all freaking stuck. All right, that's your card for today. Wow. Okay, Ahura, excuse me if this is a little blunt, but they're being a little bit blunt with me. So what and I'm going to try to put words to this, it might be a little bit challenging, but what they are suggesting is that when things are going on, you only ever look at the negative and don't look at the power and the positive aspect of change that is potentially tied to it. And it's interesting because there's this one part of you that you're showing me that knows this and understands this and totally gets it. And then there's the you in the moment that doesn't deal with it real well. So maybe when you are in those moments, those very specific moments, that you start catching yourself and stopping and breathing and taking an energetic step back so that you're not reacting, because I feel like there's a big reaction that happens, and then it unwinds, but maybe it's time to really start looking at the specific reaction and start decompressing that and unwinding that so it's not like such an explosion when it happens that you need to fix. Because I feel like the reaction in those times is a fixable thing. Okay? I hope that helps. Or gives you something to work on, like we don't have anything else to do. All right, Karen, I'm assuming that's about the tooth story. Yes, it was a very powerful story. And then Yvonne said, that's an amazing story. I'm going to tell my sister who's having a tooth issue. Well, okay. Again, it was a miracle story. So, and we have stop this. KJG. Hi, KG. You're new, so welcome to the show. And you sure can have a reading number 1. Number 1. And that's your card for today. All right, KGG. So KJG, what you're showing me is that you have really been excited and enthusiastic of moving into, and I'm going to say, your selfhood. I get the impression that in the past, there has been more doubt, less self-esteem. You would ask other people's opinions and perhaps allow your life to be driven by what other people thought you should be doing versus what was feeling good and right for you on the inside. And I feel like you're moving out of that and really moving into being your authentic self. So I think that that's really great, and just keep on trucking, keep on going on. All right, let's see. Karen says, love the topic today. Thank you, Karen. And then Ann says, thank you, Dr. Rita. Yes, that makes sense. Great, thank you. And then Dawn says, yes, you are spot on. Some things I'm going to do. I was worrying about my something to do. Well, stop worrying, Dawn. And Christine says, thank you for the reading. And we have Stephen. Stephen, I am not even going to try to say your last name. I don't know if you asked for a reading. I don't know that. All right, so I'm going to scroll down, but if you would like a reading, give me a number between 1 and 3, and that's how many times I'll shuffle the cards on your behalf. And hopefully I'll see it, and you'll get a reading before 8 o'clock, because there's like less than 10 minutes. All right. All right, Joe says, I have to go now, but just want to say that I enjoyed your talk tonight. Thank you, Joe. Nice to see you. And then Amy says, thank you for the reading. Great advice. Heading to the tip jar. Thank you, Amy. I love you. All right. And then Yvonne says, that's unfortunately doesn't make sense because I'm about to put one of my projects out there, actually getting good feedback on both of them. Okay, Yvonne, I'm going to try to get back to that. And then Steven says, I own an online radio station. I have an LLC. If you would like, we can make an arrangement to have you on as regular. Thank you, Steven. Hey, Steven, I'm always game for doing like radio interviews and doing stuff online. So you're on YouTube. Go to my webpage, soulhealer.com. That's soulhealer.com, and reach out to me via an email, and let's connect. That'd be great. All right, where am I? Ricky says, thank you so very much, Dr. Rita. Have a wonderful weekend. Lots of hugs. You too. And then ERT Radio says, yep, exactly. I need to learn the reconnection. Yep. Okay. And then Julie says, thank you, Dr. Rita. Have a lot going on. It does feel like I am going to pop. Trying to relax and be patient. Good job, Julie. Amy McCarty. Hey, Amy McCarty. How are you doing? Okay, so the topic was energy medicine, and you'll have to like listen to the replay in order to catch that part. But that'll get posted here in a little bit. And then Gary says, all right, hang on a second. Let me get to Steve because he was way before, and he wanted number 3. Okay. Ooh, Steve. So I don't know if you're here before. So when these cards come up, it usually means that there's some energy that you're not looking at or paying attention to, or that's hidden from you. And I will pull cards. Okay, you have like not good cards coming up. Okay. And that's the card that's showing me the clearing, but you had these other cards in between that were not good cards, in my opinion, just off, generic look at them. So, Stephen, I don't mean to be like a negative Nelly here, but I feel like you kind of sit in a bit of negative energy that you, I'm going to say, ruminate in the past. I don't even want to go here. So I am just going to say, so I'm just going to cut to the chase. One thing that you are showing me is that I feel like you are feeling a bit overloaded in the moment. And the solution to start moving out of the energy that you're in right now is to start nurturing yourself, to start taking care of yourself, to start asking yourself, what do I need? And what do I need to do today? Because I feel like your energy is so spread thin on taking care of everybody else that you're not really working on taking care of yourself. And maybe you need to spend some time doing that and you will feel better. Feel better. Okay, so let's see. Where was I? All right, so we're to Gary. Okay, so we have Gary and Amy, and those are my last two because it will be time to go. All right, he would like a reading number 2, and he says, you're looking great tonight. Thank you, Gary. All right, and Gary, that's your card for today. I'm not real sure what that is about. Okay, good. It's not you. Okay, so I get the impression that you are feeling pressured by people around you, the world around you. I think the more important thing is that you are feeling the pressure and you're not liking it. And I feel like this energy is kind of forcing you to have some boundaries and push the energy back and say no. And it might be uncomfortable, but I'm feeling like it's going to be a good thing for you because it will help you to break through some walls that you've been working on. Okay. I know, kind of a quick one today, but we're running out of time. And then KJG says, so wild. Yeah, I sent him my resignation letter. That's what I do. All right, Amy, you're my last one, number 3. All right. Okay. God. Okay, we had like all these great cards and now these funky ones. All right, Amy, that's your card. So, Amy, I am just feeling like your energy is feeling a little bit low. I don't know if you are feeling picked on or ignored, but I don't know. Usually when I look at your energy, it's pretty high vibrating, but I'm not feeling like it's vibrating particularly high right now. I mean, I know that we have just gone through a very rough period. And to be honest with you, and I don't know if there's an anniversary or a birthday or something, but Frank keeps coming up to me. And just for everybody, I don't talk to dead people, just saying, but Frank is here. I don't know. He says hi. He's saying that he's kind of a little bit worried about you. So I don't know what's going on, Amy, but you know, if you need some further clarification, if you need somebody to talk to, please do reach out to me at soulhealer.com or message me. So like that. Anyway, guys, so I know that there's a couple more people that I have not gotten to tonight, and I'm really, really sorry about that, but it's time for me to go. And so if you would like a reading, you know, come back next time. Or if you want to schedule a private consultation with me to discuss something specific, reach out to me at my webpage, soulhealer.com. Anyway, so till next time, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Be blessed.